Welcome to Persephone's Tavern.
Welcome back to Ivila. I am your humble DM, Trevor Trent. Joined as always, we have Hayden Poindexter,
Galil Oremender,
Austin Boyette,
Elara Viraleth,
Nick Lloyd,
Uriel Gloomraven,
and Andrew Goebel.
I am Aamir Ashford. Thank you, our humble DM, Trevor.
Flawless execution. Flawless.
Well, you know, someone has to be. Aara Viraleth.
Did you say all Alara? Alara. It's canon. Cholera Viraleth.
Cauliflower earwax.
You got that cauliflower earwax.
Oh,
like it.
something that only boxers relate to, I'm sure.
What?
That's a mental image. Well, they get cauliflower ear from getting punched in the side of the head.
That's
Okay, I thought you meant like
He
the
said
dog.
what?
And then presumably, yeah, earwax probably
That's
does get trapped up in there.
All right, let's go.
All right. Last we left off, the majority of the party regathered at the top of the bluff overlooking the Bullywug village. They quickly realized that Uriel was still amidst the chaos below, as the Bahir they had released from capture slowly rampaged through the village. As Everett Templeton raced down the dam on his own, the party followed him down on their own means. Hoping to get there more quickly, Elara and Aamir slid down the bluff. Elara beast-shaped into a wolf and raced ahead, and Aamir used expeditious retreat to increase his speed dramatically. While Galil took a slow and steady approach to use the path, realizing there was no way he could catch the other two, Galil resolved to try and buy time for them and search for Uriel by heading towards the Bahir. Meanwhile, Uriel slowly came to consciousness. Still racked by pain, all he could hear is the sound of frogs all around him. As he felt his weakened body being restrained, he was brought before the Bullywug Queen. Using some form of magic, the Queen began speaking with Uriel. Quick to accuse the intruder for the chaos exploding outside of the spawning pools, the Queen offered to heal Uriel if he agreed to help her soldiers recapture the Bahir. Under a tentative agreement, Uriel was force-fed a grotesque healing concoction that got him back into fighting shape. It was by now that Elara and Aamir watched as Uriel emerged from the doorway with a Bullywug guard entourage. In an awkward exchange, Elara and Aamir tried to convince Uriel to leave his new charge, to which he seemed oddly committed. At the other end of the camp, on the western edge of the trapper cages, Galil reached his charge. A giant Bahir, 100-foot long from head to tail, fighting swarms of bullywug and slowly losing battle of attrition. Joining the fight to undermine the bullywug, Galil began healing the creature and shielding it from harm, even as a frustrated Uriel began taking shots at the Bahir from hundreds of feet away. All the while, the creature continued barreling towards the spawning pools. With little option, Galil climbed onto the back of the Bahir and held tight, as the battle neared inevitably closer to the Queen. The Bahir unleashed its cold breath upon the mountain of eggs, and froze most of the area instantaneously. All fell except for the Queen, which seemed to save herself once again by using magical abilities channeled through her crown. From there, the fight quickly devolved into a rumble as the two immense figures clashed into each other, roiling around in a grapple of tooth and nail. Taking a moment to sow further chaos as more bullywug approached the area in aid of their queen, Uriel fired a flaming arrow into the hide canopy overhead, setting the big tent ablaze in moments. He then continued shooting at the approaching bullywugs. Galil kept his distance, casting magic at the bullywug queen in an attempt to aid the Bahir. Aamir and Elara began towards the dam, reaching it just as the Bahir reached the bullywug queen. Elara sent Aamir to the top as she devised a plan to dismantle the dam. Once at the top, where he heard a distant fighting, he found a group of bullywugs in combat with a singular figure. A humanoid around 5 feet tall, covered in short, coarse fur, a long, ropey tail, and a rat-like face. As it fought alone, it looked up at Aamir and in a familiar voice of Everett Templeton pled for help. And that is where we pick up. But yeah, let's start with Aamir at the top of the dam. You see what you assume is your friend Everett, based on the voice, but he looks a lot different now with this rat-like body, and he's wielding this long curved dagger against this group of bullywugs. Some of them looking kind of worse for wear, some of them quite primed to fight, and you know just from the trip over here that there are more bullywugs that could be called in to fight at a moment's notice.
Gotcha. I just kind of look over at the were-rat looking folk, and I just go, Templeton? Is that you? It doesn't matter. Laura has a plan. We need to get off this thing now. And I cast Magic Missile, just try to do some crowd work on the bullywugs. Actually, instead of Magic Missile, I just want to shoot a Chill Touch.
So yeah, let's just start right there on the initiative. On a 19, Aamir, you said you want to do Chill Touch?
Yeah, I would,
from where you're looking, they're easy 30 feet away from you. Let's see.
yeah. I'm just going to go cast Chill Touch on a bullywug that would kind of free him up some space to be able to kind of move through this big area.
To get kind of closer to you.
So maybe...
Because you guys are on like I mean, it's wide enough at the top, like, and it's got like partitions and things that are creating kind of a jagged zigzag sort of space to move. Yeah. But in general, you're looking at like a space of like 30 feet wide on top of here that kind of snakes around and widens and shortens at points.
And is he kind of like in the center, or is he close to like the edge of the dam?
Yeah, it looks like he's in the center over the top of where those two aqueducts go through the dam, letting water through at a smaller rate.
And how high are we off? How high are we from the floor?
Like 100 feet more on one end, and then it's, you know, a 20-foot drop to the cold water on the other side.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can cast this spell to try to get him some breathing room, see if he can kind of make a quick escape if possible. That's my intention to try to give him. I don't know what he wants to do, but I'm just going to Chill Touch a bullywug. I just kind of reach forward almost instinctively as if I'm trying to move bullywugs out of the way, but this little ghostly hand apparates and just kind of goes through one of the bullywugs for 9 necrotic damage. If possible, before I end my turn. I'm just going to kind of gesture towards the edge of the dam and kind of look over at who I assume to be Templeton and be like, Templeton, we just gotta jump. Trust me on this one, man. Elara is about to blow this whole thing.
He's like, all right. And you see the one that you hit with the Chill Touch, like this icy hand kind of like goes through him, and you see like his eyes start bleeding and stuff. Or is it cold damage or necrotic? Necrotic, that's what I thought. So it's like, it just starts decaying. But he's still up. He looks very like lethargic and completely fucked up, but he's just hanging on to life. He looks like a stiff breeze would blow him over at this point. Anything else on your turn?
Just jump. Trust me.
Jump? Are you crazy?
I'm a fucking wizard. Trust me.
Regardless, on an 18, it goes to the bullywug that you just hit with the Chill Touch. Oh, no, it goes to one of the other ones. Let's see. What's it going to do? Okay, it sees that somebody has just entered the bridge, and you kind of see over there casting this quick spell. You see they do like this standing jump and just leap like 20 feet over Everett and start heading your way. Only gets about 40 feet, but you see that somebody's coming towards you. The one that you just hit with the necrotic energy, he's in like panic mode after just hitting with that, and so he starts to like bellow out, lets out this loud frog croak, just and you hear the sound echo back and retort from other bullywugs in the area. As he does that, he kind of stumbles back, and Everett's going to take a opportunity attack on him. So yeah, you see that this thing lets out this bellow and presumably calls for help, but as he stumbles back, you see Everett just goes and stabs him with the dagger, and you already did a shitload of damage, and he just kind of finishes the job. And so this thing kind of stumbles back and just kind of falls over dead. That was on an 18. So let's jump back over to the spawning pools, because also on an 18 is the Bay here, who is roiling and in a brutal struggle with this bullywug queen. You see he's got a full 360 coiled wrap around it, but even still its rotund form is so hard to manage that they're both just wrestling around. Let's recharge. He recharged his cold breath.
Oh, fuck.
That's a good thing, presumably. If you are in the general area, you were close because you were casting spells on it to heal it. Galil, you're going to need to make a dex save as this thing whips a cone of cold and tries to freeze the queen and just about anything else in the area. That would be 74 cold damage, half on the save.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So, Uriel, you see as Galil gets trapped in this like swirling vortex of cold breath. She took all 74 of that too. You see the queen is not like all that good anymore either. But you see that Galil does get hit in the cross blast and falls over in like this just frozen hump. So it looks like on initiative, it's going to go back to some of the bullywugs on the dam, but then to Hayden. So let's go ahead and do a death save for you before we jump back over there.
Save, okay.
18. So that's one save, and then let's jump back over to the dam. So a few more of the bullywugs are going to make attacks on Everett as his back is turned trying to fight with this other one. It's a miss. And another miss. Okay, so these two bullywugs as Everett's, stabbed into this one and taking it out, finishing off what you started, Aamir. See two more come up at him from behind with spears, and just like a twitch of his ears or something, he just kind of ducks down real low, and the spears kind of crisscross above his head and miss. So that's going to bring it to Everett. On Everett's turn, he says, do y'all got a plan or something? I had something I was going to do to blow these supports apart up here.
Well, Elara said she had an idea, and, well, I thought let's go with your thing too, I guess. That's fine. We could rock this. I can hang, man. I can hang.
Well, I don't want to do anything that's going to get somebody killed, but I do have a bit of explosives on me.
That's fun.
We could talk about it. Let's go find out what your friend's up to.
Yeah, let's chit-chat.
Okay, so he's going to take a straight up dash action, risk getting AO'd by the 2 or 3 that are left. So yeah, he just kind of like runs through them, goes around the one that hopped over towards you. So he just very lively like runs past them, scurries through the little crowd, and he basically gets caught up to you. Uriel, you're next. So you see your buddy go down in the midst of all of this, and there's like this slowdown in time as you're kind of assessing the battlefield, and you realize you guys are way overwhelmed in this moment.
Uriel's never overwhelmed. His friends, however,
Very bad shape.
sometimes.
Often find themselves.
Yeah.
Goes to the bay here and drops
How-
his short sword.
How far away is Galil?
You were near the entrance, so you could get to him 20 feet. But you'll find yourself in the same situation as him, where these two massive figures are fighting each other, and they're not worrying about what's around them. So the longer you linger around them, the more likely you're going to be caught in their crossfire.
I'm gonna cast one of my second level spells, and I'm going to cast Healing Spirit.
Hell yeah. That's a great spell.
So I'm gonna put it right on Galil, and it's gonna come down like a pole dancer again, like last time. But there's no pole there this time, unfortunately. Maybe like it comes down the Bahir's tail, like it's
Like a yabba dabba doo.
Yeah.
It went from sultry to silly real fast.
Yeah.
Why can't it be both?
And I'll just give it a whole yabba-dabba-doo-na.
Yabba dabba doo.
And
Shoot yabba dabba doing later.
it slides down the tail and starts healing
That's funny.
for 1d6.
I get 3 HP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Wait, plus your
Wakes you up.
Hopefully
Yeah, I
Vader
come
doesn't breed
conscious,
again.
and I just say, "Don't freeze me."
Austin, you get to go first on the round. So you're not sure what happened at the top.
Yep.
You vaguely heard Aamir yelling, but you didn't quite catch what it was over the sound of roaring water. So yeah, you're at the bottom of this dam. You're basically standing like in the little area where the trapper cages are. So you see like walls of cages all around you. You see the big old cage where the Bahir was, like part of it completely smashed open. And then above you see hanging riggings and things, scaffolds up against the dam. And then these two large aquifers that are sending water out in a controlled flow. That's what's feeding the two tributaries through the village.
So there's a bunch of cages here with live animals in them.
There are still some captive things, including the boule is still back here. There's still the giant mole. There's still several kobolds and goblins that are trapped in here.
That changes everything.
Does it? It does for the druid, I bet. Animals in cages. You knew that they were feeding the queen something throughout the banquet. You knew that they've been eating some source of meat, and probably now it's clicking where all the food's coming from.
I feel like I need a lot of time to think about this because this changes so much. I mean,
You don't have a long time to think. You got like
I know.
6 seconds.
How would I possibly get all of these animals out?
Good. Yeah, sorry to throw such a heavy moral quandary on you, but
I was so confident
Yeah.
until this point. So I have to choose between saving people humanoids that I promised to save.
those have technically been saved. the captives from Edgar's crew, they were escorted out of the village. Now they were left kind of alone up there to their own devices, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're in any danger.
No, they got Wilbur.
Yeah, they got Wilbur.
If I was just a little stronger, redirect the flow of the dam.
A little stronger like you used to be.
Think about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
You feel this longing for that power you used to have in this moment.
I feel like I can't. I have to try to open all these cages.
So, I mean, you see that most of them are as easy as just running a dagger through the bindings.
Oh.
And they're open. Tricky one's probably going to be the boulet, which has like this winch
suspended,
that's
right?
lifting it up almost like in a sling.
Yeah, set
And
it.
so it's wrapped up
How high?
and held up about 15, 20 feet off the ground. Because they wanted to make sure it had no way of touching
High enough to drown.
anything that it could burrow into. But the others are just a matter of going around and cutting some cages open and hoping that they don't all attack you at once.
I will cast Speak with Animals.
Or ask and let you speak to beasts, I believe.
Or critters.
So there, you can talk to the mole.
The mole?
There's a giant.
Yeah, it's like a giant
Oh,
mole.
I thought it was just a regular mole in a cage. Was like, leave him in that cage. There's a reason. He's a single mole in a cage.
Isn't it huge?
Yeah.
No context, just
Yeah.
I know you're a mole. I don't know why or for who.
Yeah, do not touch.
Yeah, as far as beasts go, yeah, I'm going to say that mole's the only thing they have. They have some monstrosities and aberrations and goblins and humanoids, but no beasts.
I'm pretty miffed about anything being caged up while I would release a torrent.
I don't care what anyone says. That's a funny fucking joke.
Broke it.
He said there was a bay here. I said no, it's a bay there.
You sound like an idiot.
It's a bay there.
So, I'm just mad about there being cages. I'm gonna open them all. Just whatever's closest to me, saving the lead for last, because it's the most formidable.
Okay. So, if you're resolved to see that through, we can say it's probably going to take you. I mean, you can get one in 6 seconds, you know what I mean? An action, slash that rope open, and move on to the next. So, you know it's going to take you a couple minutes to get all these cages open manually. So, to that point, as Elara starts cutting cages, rather than setting up for whatever plan she had, Aamir, you have convinced Everett to join you at the top of the dam, and it's your turn now.
So Everett, Alara's just at the bottom of the dam right now, and she has this whole big idea. I don't know what it is, but she sent me up here to come get you. But if you have an idea, we can probably collaborate a little bit once we get back down there. She should still be down there.
And he says, well, yeah, I got some explosives I got cooked up, literally. Well, Wilbur helped.
What? Don't worry about it later. I'll go ahead and shoot one more back at me at the frogs following us behind us.
Okay.
She'll touch.
It's going to be towards the closest one that kind of leapt out at you guys.
Yeah. That's gonna be a 17, 9 plus 8.
Definitely. It's going to
Okay. 14 necrotic damage as one more time as I reach out and just kind of grasp at this little froggy's throat. I don't think they got frogs.
I'm not arguing with you ever again. They have throats, they have teeth, they
got wings, goddamn.
vestigial limbs.
The hand reaches into the mouth and starts pulling out teeth.
Sure, why not? You start playing, what was it? The gator dentist thing.
I fucking love that game.
But yeah, this thing, it was already pretty potent before, but this you even more locked in this time. This hand comes out, just rushes through the bullywug's form, passing through its body, and as this necrotic energy washes over it, you see it just kind of rots and withers and falls dead in its place.
Oh fuck! Why did I learn this cantrip? That's gross. Okay. Yeah, and I'm just going to take my normal movement. Well, I got expeditious retreat. I'm going to bonus action dash down the mountain.
You want to go back down?
Is that where we're headed? Where Everett's heading?
He was heading back up towards the
Yeah,
top.
I'm running that way.
He's like, how's your climbing?
Running's good. My climbing is decent.
He's better at falling.
I might be doing the climbing then, and you just have to watch my back.
I can climb. Look, Listen, man, when I said I can hang off of cliff faces, stone walls, tree branches, you name it, I'll climb. I got a running start.
All right, here, take one of these, and he hands you like this little, like, bag that has like basically a fuse sticking out of it. He's like, here, you're gonna need that. There's like a It's like a bit of a squish to it. It's almost like a beanbag, but it's a little bit moist.
It's shit.
Yay! Okay, yeah, I'm vibing, baby. Let's go.
I'll tell you a little bit more once we get over there. All right, back over here. So you can run back towards the crowd.
Yep.
All right, so that's going to go back to the bay here again. So let's see if it recharges its breath. And what's your HP maximum?
96.
96? Okay, you're probably not going to insta-die from it. You might just keep getting popped up with healing spirit over and over again. Okay, no breath. So this time it's just going to use its attacks to just keep trying to hurt this queen because it did not get its breath back. She's really fucked up now at this point, so that brings it to 13 next. Hayden, back to you.
Okay.
So at the start of your turn, you get another little buff, a little pump of healing from the healing spirit, I believe.
6.
Oh. Sorry, I thought you said D20.
That's 4. So I'm back up to 7. How is the queen looking?
The queen's looking pretty rough. The bay here is also looking hurt, but still outnumbered, because you know there's still dozens of bullywugs that are around. But there aren't any in, like, the breeding pod area right now. You guys have cleared the area temporarily. Except for the queen.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead on the queen of the bullywug.
System save. It's only a 10, so it's gonna fail.
Knock that bitch's crown off.
Should be 10 necrotic damage.
Okay. Still up, but not looking great.
And then, where am I in relationship to the bay here and the queen right now?
So I had kind of pictured on the side of the door, more or less, because Uriel was able to get to you easy enough. Or was that ranged attack? Probably, huh?
60 foot.
Either way, you're on the door side of it, as they're kind of roiling around in a 20-foot little circle, wrestling with each other.
Okay, I just want to move my movement speed towards the door without leaving. Just move towards the doorway.
Easy enough. Only thing around right now is Uriel.
Is there any kind of incline there?
Not much, just enough to kind of let water trickle in there. It's kind of like, it's the base of the riverbed, so everything's kind of curved to an extent.
And that'll be it on my turn.
Okay. Let's go back to Everett on the dam. So you go rushing ahead, getting closer to the little group of bullywugs. He kind of is rallied in the moment now that he's got some help, runs back up with you, and is going to make attacks on the two attacks. One. So he puts in a little chip damage on one of the bullywugs, just kind of runs a dagger by one of them as he kind of gets back into the fray. And then he looks back at you, Aamir, and he says, if you feel good climbing, get down there on that aqueduct and set that bomb up. Get it ready to blow.
Yep. Alrighty. Down on the aqueduct, ready to go. I don't. Just need to find my tinder box as I'm running and looking through my bag.
I'll have to produce flame.
Listen, I'm only a wizard, okay?
He's prestidigitate.
Oh, I could. Fuck, I can. I will.
I can, and I will. Okay, so hold that thought. So yeah, Everett, barks that out, tries to do a little damage as much as he can, and we're gonna go back to Uriel. So your healing spirit has gotten Galil back into somewhat fighting shape. He looks like all hell, completely wounded. You see frostbite on every bit of exposed skin that he has, but his resolve is still there, and stands back up, barely able to walk, holds his damn hammer up and tolls the dead on this queen.
I'm going to, I guess, like, he's like within touch range of me now.
Yeah, he kind of retreated back to you.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and just sort of be like, you had a rough go in there. It's okay now. And do a cure wounds, and it's a 1d8 plus my spellcasting modifier. 1d8 plus 1 for your cure wounds.
Are you gonna hold your ground there?
I look at you and I'm kind of like, I think have we done enough here?
I look over to the fight. Do I feel confident? Can I roll insight to see if I feel confident that the bay here would win if we left?
I would say I'd come down more to a medicine check, as you're having to look at the wounds that have been inflicted.
Okay, I'll do a medicine check.
It's not the
7.
worst.
7. At this point, you think it could be a toss-up between either one, but even with a 7, I'll say by looking at this fight, you can tell one of them is not getting out of it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be wrapped up for a second. We need to go find Elara and Aamir.
Yeah, if we collapse this bridge, that'll take care of whatever's left.
Yeah, I'm worried that they're already collapsing the bridge right now.
Yeah, we should not be here.
Yeah, here's Elara and Aamir right now.
You just look up at the
Huh.
bridge. Yeah, see Aamir with a
Can I
Dunwich Moor all over again.
hang back menacingly?
That's what I thought was the end of the round. Actually, is supposed to be the queen, so she's going to get her turn finally.
Shit.
All right, so this Behir queen is all rolled up. You guys have started making your tree. You probably don't even see this, but as she's getting bit and clawed at it from all sides, losing heaps of blood, trying to hold consciousness, you see eyes start to glow and the crown starts to kind of glow, and she begins casting a spell again. And you see this aura start to go around the bay here. It wasn't meant to be. So as this thing is trying to cast a spell onto this bay here, this aura pulsing with energy around the creature, its eyes beginning to glow, and suddenly the magic begins to flicker, unable to concentrate and push through on this effect that nothing seems to happen. So with that, it goes to round. Both sides, both fronts of this engagement, on the top of the round on a 20, kind of a layer power, you begin to see more bullywugs approaching your area. Uriel and Galil, you guys see them coming from beneath the canopy from that panic to check on their queen, and finding you guys there, it's going to be a bit of a, disengage kind of push, get through them without much engagement. On the other side, on the dam, Elara, you can see this from below. They haven't quite pegged what you're doing in the trapper cage area, but you can see above you bullywugs beginning to attach to the dam and climb up towards the commotion going up there. Basically, there's reinforcements arriving on both fronts. Don't linger if you want to do nothing but spin attack rolls killing bullywug. That's on a 20. Also on a 20 is Elara. So you kind of notice this going on. You're in the process. You've freed a giant mole. You can move on to the next set of cages. You would assume that if you started letting go the goblins, they would start helping each other. Or maybe not, you don't know. But as far as expediting the process, that's probably the only option you have. But yeah, how do you proceed?
Okay, so I will go over to the first goblin cage and cut it open.
All right. Easy enough. You see this diminutive goblin kind of pushes the cage open slowly, barks something at you inquisitively and then he kind of tentatively begins to scurry away.
That's my turn.
Aamir.
Oh man, here I go. So the aqueduct is below me on the face of the. Okay.
Like you would need to just climb down the face of the scaffolding and stuff.
How far down does it look like?
15 feet to the top of the little opening.
I kind of look at my options. I see Everett start doing his thing, and he gives me the bomb and I don't know if it's the adrenaline from the situation or if it's the adrenaline, the runner's high from being in a dead sprint for 10 minutes. I'm just going to, no hesitation, to start climbing down to that aqueduct. I have focus and commitment. I am doing this thing if I have to.
All right, well, give me an athletics check.
That's an 18.
Nice. All right, so you just start scaling the wall.
Oh, just like the lumberyard.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have my boot spurs, but this will work.
This will be fine.
And I get down there.
So yeah, you see it's once you get closer to, you see that it's not as nice as it looks. There's this big opening that they've made out of wood and supports that's letting water gush through there, but it's really just held together by a little bit. And you see just this perfect little recess where you could jam this thing in there.
Yeah. Okay. I set it in there. I just kind of take out my fingers, just kind of snap, prestidigitation, and it's snap. It smells like flowers. Damn it. Snaps. Make a little blue light. Fuck. Snaps. The wick lights finally, and was okay, fine. I just start climbing back up.
It's a bit slick, but you start climbing up and you see the bullywugs have already started getting up past where you just did that. Just an arm's length away from trying to grab you to the bay here. All right, so they're in this struggle, and you see you just watched it take this big bite and clawed at it, and you did this Toll the Dead, and you see its eyes start to bleed, and it's struggling against it, trying to cast this spell, and you watch as it's distracted from that necrotic damage just long enough for this thing to get its tail loose, and you see it like writhes its tail around to separate them apart, backs up, coils back, and just opens its head real wide and just straight down on top of this bullywug's head, clamps down on it real hard, and you just see like its neck twist and wrench back and forth, and then just and then the thing just drops fucking dead in this big old lump of frog fat.
I look over at Uriel and I say, "That's our cue to get out of here."
And then, it just like
Scooby-Doo
rears up
sounds
on it,
and run.
straight up fucking Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3.
Guys, that could have been.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
You guys hear that from up top?
Oh, definitely. You hear this thing let out this triumphant roar from across the camp. That was the 18, so that's going to bring it back to Galil.
I'm just gonna take full dash 50
feet?
Yeah, I get as far as I can.
Yeah. That's going to bring it to Uriel next then, and then to Everett.
Yes. I will dash as well.
So you get a little bit ahead of Galil. You guys are heading, I'm assuming heading towards the dam in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I see any combatants in front of us towards the dam?
So it seems like most of the camp is too distracted to worry about you guys fleeing from the area. They don't see you much as combatants at this point. So the frogs are running towards the spawning pods.
Did he eat the crown?
I mean, it doesn't look like it. It looked like he just broke its neck and
Dropped it.
That was Uriel, that was Galil. So Everett now sees you climbing back up. You just get to the top of the dam, having just set yours. He is going to try to do the same. So he's going to move past those other bullywugs. They're going to try to take pot shots at him. So you see he's rushing by, reaching in his satchel for another one of those, presumably. And you see he gets a vicious spear wound into his side as he does. And he just kind of grits through it and pulls himself off of the wound and tries to climb down. Very deftly climbs down just as you did. Soon enough, he goes down for just a moment, and then soon enough you see him scurry back up. And he looks back over at you. He's kind of like in a 3-point stance. He says, "All right, now's probably a good time to go ahead and run." And
Do we want to jump?
I'm not going to jump. You can jump.
We can jump. I can get us. I got featherfall, man. Well, we got 12 seconds.
Now, did you cut the fuse? It should be a little longer than last. Fuck it, let's run.
Okay.
That's 11.
Everett says goodbye. Farewell, friend.
Frog Queen is dealt, so that goes back to round. All right, so on a top of the round, bullywugs just reached the top of the dam, and you see there's like 3 of them blocking your way from running off back to the village. That's just what you notice as they get to the top. They're not able to take shots on you yet, and then it goes back to Elara down in the bottom. Your passive's pretty high, right? You would have probably noticed both Everett and Aamir like scale down to the aqueducts and climb back up.
Still, I mean, I've just got to work harder and faster.
All right, so do you open
Way to die.
another cage?
Yes.
What are you going for? The boule or one of the kobolds or another goblin?
Another goblin.
You see this one's like expectantly holding on to the bars, seeing that you just let out one of its friends and cut the rope, and it's the same thing, just you get a and then it just runs off.
Hang on. I want to grab him and like turn him to where he's like facing me. I don't want to put my dagger in his hand. Like pull his hand to the next cage and like do that kind of gesture to him.
Yeah, kind of like
Give me a
This is what's going on.
persuasion check with a disadvantage.
I think I have very bad charisma.
Even worse.
How bad is what's the low adjusted though?
3.
Well, I rolled a nat 1.
Wow.
So this thing, you like,
Literally
grab it by the shoulders, you put this dagger in his hand, you point to the other cages, and he just kind of looks at the dagger and he goes,
I could.
then he goes on an 18. So right after you, or right after
Hey,
Aamir.
you have just doubled proficiency.
Yes.
Efficiency.
Efficiency. Let's say
Proficiency.
I need to stop playing this game.
Aamir, back to you.
I look over to Everett. I'm just like,
So we run?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
That way. He points like off the bridge
All right, fair.
so I'm going to use.
towards the 3 bullywugs that are in your way.
So I'm going to move.
Mm-hmm.
Bonus action dash. Bonus action dash. They love it.
120.
Yeah, he blasts like through the bullywugs. You didn't disengage, right? That was just
Nope.
straight up dash.
Nope, that was straight up dash.
All right, they're all gonna go spear at you.
So fast they couldn't see.
That's a
Everett
miss.
points his finger.
These bullywugs, man, I cannot roll higher than a 5. Does a 12 hit you?
Yeah, it unfortunately does.
You do get hit with 1 spear because I'm not using those teeth on you. You don't deserve them.
Come on. Come on. A drive-by bite.
Yeah. Thought you were a fly. You take 5 piercing damage as a spear gets you, but you were able to zip right past them there. That was Aamir, so that brings it to the bay here. Y'all aren't sure what he's doing. He hasn't left the little spawning area yet. You hear him still in there making noise, but so that would bring it back to Hayden and Uriel, who are sprinting across the camp still, I'm assuming.
Full sprint.
Yeah, how far away from the
y'all,
dam are we?
Y'all have gone 100 feet from the spawning area.
At
Just shy of a quarter.
50 feet around. It's like us 19 rounds to get.
So it's a 2-minute run, yeah. Yeah, this place was not small.
I'm
But you guys are way back here. Going
yeah, I'm
way
cutting.
back here.
I'm not going to the dam.
Go and take the main road back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is about half as much, about 500 feet, and you guys will be out of the water. And you can see, like, this cliff face, I mean, it does kind of gradually get lower as the slope goes up to meet it, but at its highest, it's like a 30 to 40 foot climb out of the riverbed. Okay, so that was y'all's go. I think that's back to round now. So Everett first, he's going to move up and get to where the bullywugs are, and then those two are going to attack him. Oh, it still misses the way we're at. And that is it on his turn. It brings us to the top of the round. Elara and Aamir, you guys hear this loudest, but you, Galil and Uriel, you still hear this from hundreds of feet away. As the first of the charges goes off, the one you set off, you hear this loud explosion go rocketing through, echoing off the rocks as it reaches your ears across the camp. Elara, above your head, you see one of these aqueducts, the furthest away from you, the one that's kind of hanging up over the broken Bahir cage, is absolutely torn asunder, and extreme amounts of water start gushing through it. You see chunks of the dam start breaking away from the opening in small pieces as it's starting at the process of losing its integrity quickly. Water begins spewing out, and then the southernmost tributary begins to flood rapidly. The water hasn't quite reached where you are yet, but it will within rounds. So that is on the top of the round on a 20. That's going to bring it to Elara with the nat 20.
Oh, goblin friend helping me.
Yeah, I guess he rolled an 18. He would have had time to pop one of the goblins out. So there's now 2 goblins out.
Well, he's after me, isn't he?
Yeah, just after, but you got him out last round, so he would have had 1 chance.
Yeah. All right, so I will cast Primal Savagery just as a cantrip.
Ooh.
And so that way I can start making melee attacks. I'm going to use it to grow out my fingernails and harden them, and I'll slice open one of the cages.
That is so rad.
Yeah.
Primal
Feel like
Savagery.
Shink.
Yeah.
Slice.
You passed your dagger.
I feel like it would just be both hands, and I just go fucking ham on the cages and open them up.
Okay. Fuck it. You're using a spell for it. We'll just say, like, it's both hands, so you just kind of get next to 2 cages and with the same action swipe 2 of them open at once.
Okay. So I'll swipe open 2 kobold cages.
Okay. So it's almost just like the goblins. They kind of sync up with their draconic voices and start grumbling to each other. You see that they notice the goblins, and then there's like a certain flinch from them, and then they kind of scurry away and try to leave the area. They seem kind of put off by the goblins. But yeah, you get some more loose.
Yeah.
You see, like, more and more of those cages are starting to empty. You see that the boulet is starting to squirm in place. It sees, it can kind of just peek with its beady little eyes down at what's going on. It's seeing, like, the level of anticipation as this thing's trying to scurry away, and this loud roar of water from behind you is making this situation much more of a panic. 20 goblins are going to keep what they're doing up, cutting more cages. And before long, you see that they've gotten a majority of the goblins out, and you don't really feel like you need to worry about them anymore. And then that puts us back on Uriel and Galil. So, like I said, you guys hear this loud explosion. You can see it in a distance. You can see that dam is like this landmark fixture that kind of is the backdrop to the city. And suddenly on the right side of it, you see this flash of fire and smoke, and then suddenly see water bursting from it. Only within seconds, you do see a surge of water rising from the little tributary that cuts through, because water's already starting to fill in there and raise the water level up just a little bit. You see the water's moving more rapidly, almost like it would after like a heavy rain, and you just hear that increasing water pressure building up next to you, and you see it hundreds of feet in the distance going down.
Say, are you a religious man, Uriel?
Some would say yes, but me, I would say maybe.
I'd say now would be the time to get right with whatever god you have.
I can't die yet. There's too many orphans that need to be saved. We could put them here after we clear this place out. There's several large caves, caverns, perfect for children.
I say, I kind of look down my stubby legs.
Where are
and
my
look
horses?
up at the hill.
Where are my horses? That's the existential question as water is about to come at you.
Where's my horse?
I just want to make sure they're okay.
I let Uriel know that he may have to leave me, and that I'm perfectly fine with my god if I end up buried at the bottom of this river. But
I feel like we're not that far away, right?
I'm quick math. I don't think my legs are gonna make it.
As you say that, like, just very quickly, Uriel gets this real serious look on his face. He takes out about 20 foot worth of rope, cuts it apart, ties one end around himself, lassos the other end, whoops it around you real quick, and then he just takes off, dashing again, dragging you behind him, trying to speed you up as much as he can, but knowing that at the very least, we're suffering the same fate together.
All right, so you guys are just going to keep running, hoping for the best. 7 rounds still before you guys get to the shore.
And we got 2 rounds.
And like full dash.
We'll be okay.
So on the top of the round, second charge goes. This one is more or less right above y'all's head. You see the explosion goes off, shrapnel starts falling down all around, creating a panic among the goblin as they immediately start to flee, leaving anything that might have been left behind. You see the boule starts squirming more frantically. Water starts filling up around your feet. So you see, like, the pressure is starting to build. The dam is crumbling. You have moments to think about what you want to do next.
I don't have anything.
And you are ankle deep in water as your turn starts.
So, at the beginning of my next round, would we be underwater?
Potentially.
Take a deep breath. Use primal savagery again. And cut 2 more cages.
You do so. 2 more draconic little kin come crawling out in a full panic and immediately start trying to dash for higher ground. Okay, so Elara's doubling down on freeing the animals, Metroid style. That is going to bring it to Aamir then.
I think
Back to you. You're like full sprint. I mean, at this point, you're climbing down the backside of the edge of the dam back down to the fishing village, and you're pretty much home free.
Aamir, I feel like there's kind of a shock back to reality after the first explosion goes off, and just kind of he looks over the town and looks at everything going on.
You see the fire that Uriel started down on the edge. You hear the bay here rampaging in the spawning pods. You hear the water building up from the dam exploding.
Just kind of put my hand on my book, almost slowing down, but keeping pace before I just go ahead and kind of pick back up and just hold on to the book and waiting after the second explosion. Just keep zooming.
All right.
Just trying to get back to the exit.
You can go another 120 feet.
90.
So you can get well out of the main gates up to that point where the little road would start to wrap back around up to the bluff. At this point, you could keep going out of beyond sight of the village, but at this point you're just waiting on everyone else.
Yeah, I imagine that's kind of the end of the expeditious retreat. It all kind of catches up to him, and he's now, like, floundering on the ground a little bit, trying to catch his breath and just looking out, trying to see if there's any sort of glance. Do I see anybody here besides me?
No, you see some panicked bullywugs that weren't the fighting sort, the craven among them that have, like, fled the village. But most of them seem to be, like, climbing up stalactites and columns, trying to get a look at the chaos. but keeping a safe distance. They're not really looking for anything to fight or anything at that point. They're just watching their village burn.
I get to the point where I just kind of stop and I just kind of look, and I can only think about looking in my book, see if maybe my grandfather has anything, if there's any sort of sage advice or anything that can help me figure this out if I'm the only one here right now. It's like, is there anything about this cave? Is there some secret exit? I know I'm grasping at straws, but I also know this mountain was almost his livelihood.
Everett's going to try to catch up to you. He's not quite as quick, but he does get out of the village too as well. He's about 30 feet away from you. Same thing, he's got like a wash of panic. Still looking like a rat. Hayden. So it's back to Galil.
I'm gonna make a perception check. I want to look back up towards the hill where I'm running towards, where we initially were making our little pre-game plan. I want to see, is it close enough to where I can see any bodies on the hill yet?
Can you see all the way up to the bluff? No, it's too far out. That was like over a mile out, up away from the village. From where you are, you can see like you're just beyond that canopy that's on fire. You're just beyond the outside of it. And you can see where you're trying to run to, and you see that you're, about 60 feet to your right is where the edge of the riverbank spikes up into like a bit of a cliff. So you're that close to the edge of it, but you're still, 200 plus feet away from where you can walk out of the road. But that's all you can really make out. You're like in the thick of the village. All you can really see is the next level of the village above.
Into the thick of it.
I think we gotta climb out of here. I'm gonna bolt 50 feet
To the edge of the wall. So your turn, you can get through the little edge of the huts, and you cut between two frog huts, and you're right up to the edge of the cliff at that point. You can just see up the scale, not completely vertical, but pretty steep rock face.
Hopefully we can get high enough to not just get...
And then Uriel would be you as well. Do you follow him as well?
How high up is the rock face?
At this point, the wall is 20 feet high. Okay, so that's on y'all. It's going to go to a 20 now. You hear any last movement? One more turn before this wall of water gets to you.
In my last few seconds of realizing what's happening, I kind of want to look back towards the dam as I hear the, catastrophic splintering. And then I want to turn back and kind of lock eyes with everyone that's still in the cage. I assume they're all probably looking either at me or maybe where the sound is coming from.
There's a combination. There's these panicked, longing gazes that are like, is it going to be my turn to get out of here? But then there's also some that are just looking around.
So in the few seconds that I have, I'm going to kind of explain to you what I want to do, and you tell me what can be done or if it can be done. I want to kind of hurriedly walk to each of the cages that are still intact and kind of place my hand on a cage and lock eyes with everyone that's in it, and last the bullet. And you said it was cramped in its cage, right?
Yeah, it's suspended up on a sling, basically. So there's a focal point to the weight above it. It looks like thick bindings that are holding it up aloft, and it's just on a simple pulley system.
All right, so I'll do this. Once I get to the last cage before the bullet. So as a bonus action, I want to use my last phase step and teleport on top of the baker cage. I want to scream out, "To me!" and see if I can capture everyone's attention.
Okay.
And I want to reach down and touch the bullet, and I'm not sure if this will work or not, but I'm going to cast water breathing, and me and up to 10 willing creatures can, breathe underwater for 24 hours. They're within 30 feet of me, so...
Okay, give me another persuasion check with disadvantage. And I'm going to roll insight on some of these creatures to see how willing they are. So some of them, through their own ignorance, may not be willing to be saved. That's a 4.
Yeah, these fucking dice.
I don't know that you would have a direct read on who received the buff and who didn't.
I'll find out.
But you know that the spell was successful. And you also know that you were not the only one targeted by the spell.
I have to be happy with that result, so...
You can lead a horse or water.
Yeah. But I can't make them breathe in it.
All right, so you do that. You get ready for what's
and
coming.
Brace, hold the rope and the cage, and just brace for impact.
And just as you get your hand locked in, you hear this final relief as a final crack just goes, and there's just a spray of water that hits into you. The rest of you guys, just as you're about to start your climb up this little 20-foot rock, see this thing crumble, and then just this wall of water come rushing at you. So you're holding onto the rope of this rigging, and as the water's pushing against you, you're holding onto this thing as hard as you can, and you're like, I'm going to be able to muster through this. And then you feel the rigging snap as, you know, this wave is hitting this boulet too, and the whole thing just gets pushed apart. And you can just barely see through the swirling water this large lump of a creature disappear into the darkness. You have no idea the fate of your boulet friend, as you are also swirling through this wave of water that has blasted you an unknown distance into the air. Take 17 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, I didn't know them.
As the force of the water pushes you some distance ahead, you're completely submerged at this point. I don't know, some 10 to 15 feet off the ground level, as this place is rapidly filling up with the river water behind it. You guys have 2 rounds before the water is going to reach you on this side of the camp. Give me your climb checks. Let's see if you guys get your feet wet or not.
Can I help him climb?
Sure. If you'd like to forego your check this turn to give him a help action, you definitely can do that.
Yeah, I will. Since we're attached by the rope, if he gets up, he can just sort of pull me.
Potentially, yeah. He's definitely more of an anchor than you are.
And he's got a better strength than I do, so.
So yeah, roll with advantage.
Nice.
20. All right, yeah. You climb up. It takes your whole round to get that whole distance, but you make it just to the top.
When I get to the top, I want to look around quickly to try to see anything solid, anything that I can anchor to myself.
Yes, you see the edge of the wall that they built up along the riverbed is just right there. Like,
Okay, I want to pinch
20
myself
feet away.
to where if the water did come, it would push the rope up against the wall and it would make like a pulley, essentially.
Oh, just kind of like hook it to the edge of it, or?
No, put my body on the opposite side, essentially.
Well, it's not. It's a flat on top, right?
No, like, so you're coming up to the top of the riverbed, and then there's a wall built right there.
It doesn't end. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
Climb over the wall.
So,
Opposite, yeah.
Like, it's a tall wall. Like, it's like a palisade. So that was what was that's like the barrier to the town.
Yeah, I remember now. And we're on the inside of it, and it just goes cliff to.
Cliff to the wall. So more wall, but they're out of the water.
Anything I can grab onto the wall? Is it just smooth stone?
If you undid your rope and like tried to lash it around the support beams of the wall, you could maybe do it that way. Like kind of tie it to the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, Uriel's kind of stuck down there for another round. You see the water is coming. The water's starting to fill up and kind of overflow from the water. You can, or not from the tributaries going through. They're starting to rise, and you see the water levels coming up behind you. You're not in a position where you're going to get pushed by a wave just yet, but go ahead and make a climb check. Try to get out of there.
So I imagine he's pulling me up too for the most part. I'm just sort of holding on to the rope, walking like.
Well, you just make an athletics check to get up. He's an anchor, but he can't do anything to help you at the moment.
It's a 2.
A 2. Ooh, so you start climbing up, and then you get a bit of rock on the wall that just kind of, your foot pushes right through, and you just kind of break loose some sediment and slide back down, and you're not, have to try again. And as you do, the water catches up to you now. And you see is like you're climbing up, and you slip down, and you go hit the ground, and you're just about to get your footing when the water starts to push into you, and you feel your whole lower body start to get pushed away. Give me a strength saving throw.
Ooh, yikes.
With advantage because
He's
it's
tired.
wild.
Came all the way back to say.
No, not quite. He won't detach necessarily, but this is to see if he.
And that one plus 2.
Oof.
3.
So yeah, the water pushes your feet out from under you, and you instantly just go. Dunk, and the only like sense of like environment you have is that you still have that rope to hold on to, but your whole body goes under, and you get like completely soaked for a second, and you feel it, like you feel a tug on the rope, and you can look down. You haven't made it far. You see he goes under real quick.
Have I made it to that beam yet?
Yeah, it's only 20 feet away.
Okay, I want to run to that beam, and instead of, can I get my body around it?
No, you wouldn't be able to like squeeze through. Like you can just barely feed a rope through it.
Okay, I want to do that. I want to feed a rope through it, and then I'm going to,
Just pull it at the other side. Don't worry about tying it.
yeah, because I'm
Just
gonna
hold the
use
weight.
my weight, and I'm going to try to walk it back to the ledge.
Wrap in there, you dig in, and you just start walking it back like with this like squat little back pedal. pulling inches at a time as you do, and slowly you feel your body start to pull back up out of the water, and you're not drowning.
I come up,
still-
sputter a little bit of water. Oh,
You're still down there. He only got you about 10 feet up, so you still have about 10 foot of wall left. But you can try to make that climb now on your own.
9.
Just shy. Yeah, that's just not quite enough. You're having trouble getting your boots in on this slick ass wall for whatever reason.
not very good climber. Well, this is how I die.
Galil will just pull you out. He doesn't get you out there. To that token, you want to make another strength check, athletics check, to pull him out? 6. You're not making much. This time you're just like, it's all you can do to hold on. And that's another fail, so let's go ahead and make you do another strength save to see if you can hold on to this water. Or to this rope, I mean.
It's 13.
Alright, you're still holding on tight. You haven't got knocked back down again. Let it rip on that climb check.
It is a 9.
Galil, back to you. He hasn't fallen off the rope, but it's definitely a game of tug of war at this
I
point.
look up and just like, you might have to leave me.
Not leaving you, Uriel. I just want to, I'll reach my hand down and try to, twist it around the rope to get as much as I can and just start to try to go back.
I've suddenly lost all fine motor skills.
6. We rolled the same thing twice. He rolled 10 twice, and then I rolled.
Uriel, give me another strength saving. As you are now once again partially submerged in this rushing water.
It's a 8.
So you lose your footing. Now, Galil, I need you to make a save.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Okay, you hold on to it, and you're able to keep him from falling into the water long enough for you to regain your footing once again.
Jesus
So he
Christ.
made the check for you. Make an athletics save or check. Yeah, it feels like a save at this point.
Is he helping me at all since
He's helping you a lot. He's been helping you.
Is that advantage?
No, straight up climb.
You said it's athletics? 11.
Finally, you clear the last 10 feet, and you guys both collapse in fucking absolute exhaustion.
And then we look up to the giant wall. Twice the size of the cliff.
Oh, it's like 60 feet high. The river's not overflowing. You guys have a strip of dry land that goes back to the gate now. So you guys start making your way towards the gate as well. Now, Elara, you've been pushed through here at this high rate of speed, unable to really gain any footing against the pressure. You can breathe, but you have barely any sense of surroundings as you're being pushed rapidly towards the base of the river, back towards the spawning pods. And as you're flailing about, you suddenly see a flash of blue beneath you, a large form start to snake and slither past you at a rapid speed, seeming undeterred by this rushing water as it powerfully swims forward, just below you.
I want to try to reach out and grab it.
You reach out to try to grab this thing, and you just miss it. The force of it going past you with the rushing water pushing you the opposite way, you just feel yourself start to tumble. And then out of nowhere, you feel these powerful claws wrap around your torso on either side of you and pull you in a bit of like a barrel roll spiral through this water as you feel yourself start to go the opposite direction. And as this thing swims faster and faster, you feel like you're heading back towards the dam. And then almost out of nowhere, you feel yourself blast up out of the water. And Aamir, you see this being really close to it. You guys might notice this from a distance. It's hundreds of feet out from you. But the Alpha Bay here has you in its clutches as it jumps up over the remains of the dam and splashes into the larger lake beyond it. And as you're clinging to the breath you have from this water-breathing spell and being whisked away into the larger parts of the Uzu Lake beyond, that is where we're going to end this session. And we'll find out what has become our dear Elara, savior of the animals, next time.
The animals come back to save me. Split.
Free will.
I don't think so.
The whole guy. Looks out.
Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a fun episode. It's really late here now. Aamir's past his bedtime. All right, well, if you like what we do, the silly and not so silly, you can find us on Facebook, find us on Patreon, Spotify. We're starting to work on getting some episodes up on YouTube,
We're on
so
the
keep an eye out
YouTube.
for that soon. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Come back to the tavern and see us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Please, love to have you. Tell a friend.
Our tales will be sung as we share our adventures. friends old and young. So come raise your glass to the hero